Mexico, a place that is so different, so authentic, that a lot of people fall in love with it. And when we're moving to Mexico, a lot of us considering to buy properties there. Let's look into whether or not it is worth it at today's pricing points. As many of you know, during pandemia, the global markets stalled, and one of the places that remained resilient was Puerto Vallarta. The reason for that was because a lot of people who worked remotely started moving to Mexico because it was one of the places still open for tourism and relocation. And even people who just worked from home decided that they rather be somewhere warm and by the ocean with a more affordable cost of living, and that's what happened. And a lot of places were sold during pandemia to foreign nationals. I know somebody who bought one-bedroom apartment, second lane to the ocean. It used to be the first one, and then another developer put the tall towers in front of that little development. But that's not the point. The point is she bought it for $160,000. This summer it was sold for $285,000. So the increase is significant. These are, this is one of the places that you still can find in that range, but usually the pricing point starts in the 300 to 350 in Centro and up, and in Marina it starts from 350 and going up to $500,000, and in Zona Romantica it's starting from 450 and up to $600,000 US and up naturally. But we're talking about condo market, not so much about the villas. So these are the pricing points. So as people started buying in Vallarta, naturally prices shot up. Let's imagine you do have access to this kind of money, which are not a chunk of change, as per me. I think it is rather expensive. Yes, it is cheaper than in Canada or maybe some parts of US, coastal US, but it's not cheap. Then the next thing you need to look at, that you will be paying home association fees. And these home association fees, depending on the area, on the development, on the amenities provided by the developer, they can range from 100 to 500 USD. This is funny because just a few years ago, one could rent a place, maybe an authentic place, not a luxurious place, but quite lovely, for that amount of money, like $500 US. And now not only would you be paying $600,000 for an actual apartment, then you would be on top of it paying the $500 for the upkeep of the pool, for having a concierge, etc., etc. Then next thing that you need to consider, that these places can get moldy if they are vacant. You definitely would need to hire somebody to come and check on it if you are going away from let's say April to October, or even like from July to October. If the place is not aired, if it's not checked, you can get tons of little critters. You can get cockroaches infestation, or little ants, or the worst thing is you can get mold, and that would be detrimental to your investment. The next thing you need to know is that if you're planning to rent your place, you would definitely need to hire property management, and property management could cost from 15 to 30% depending on the services provided by them. In the upper echelon of the pricing, they can even pay your utilities and maybe correspond the expenditures towards your taxes somehow, but in general, let's say it's 15 to 20%, and it could be up to 30%. And the main thing to know is that if you are not a legal resident of Mexico, yes, you still can buy, but you would be paying fideicomiso, which is a trust with a bank that allows you to hold this property, like the bank is holding this property on your behalf for 50 years. It can be inherited, if you will, by your next of kin, but you will be paying from 500 to 1,000 every year for holding this fideicomiso. So these are all the factors that you need to know about buying property in Puerto Vallarta. Whether or not it's worth it for you, you will decide. Another thing to know that you would have to pay to your agent, selling agent, 8% plus 16% tax of the total amount. And I think it's a little bit high. Another thing you need to know that you will be paying capital gains tax, and if you're not a resident, that could be quite high. So do become a resident first if you want to avoid the high taxation of 25% of the total sale price, or 35% of the net gain after deducting allowable expense. Next, if you're selling, you have to pay notary fees and closing costs from 4 to 6%. That is besides the legal fees. But if you're looking to buy in Puerto Vallarta, after all I've said, there's two things that I would do. First, I would live in Puerto Vallarta at least for a full year to see how you would weather the different seasons. And second thing, I would get my residency, because yes, you can buy without being a resident, but you need to know that if you're selling, you will be paying high taxes. So in order to avoid it, look into residency first if you can afford it, because they keep on raising the requirements every year. But if you still want to go ahead, make sure you buy with an AMPI certified agent. All you need to know is to go on the website of AMPI. AMPI have a lot of agencies that are working with them, and